Welcome back to another video, guys. If you're new here, you enjoy daily gaming and Xbox content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to start off here with talking about a game that is coming out exclusively for the Xbox ecosystem, and that is Towerborne. Towerborne coming from Stoic Studios, one of the games a part of the Xbox Global Publishing brand, and it is a side-scrolling action RPG with a very cool artistic graphical art style. A game that I'm actually extremely excited for. We've seen some gameplay of it 4 months ago. We got this deeper dive into how the game is going to play, look, and feel. And it looks really, really fun. I love these styles of games. I love action RPGs. I love side scrollers. So putting those two things together has me excited. And I've enjoyed games like Dragon's Crown and Odin Sphere. So Towerborne, for me, is up there for a game that I can't wait to jump into. But we got some more information about what we can expect from this game. This was via an interview here with Games Radar, and Palworld does a nice breakdown as to all of the things that they talk about. There is one thing in particular that has really piqued my interest, and we will get to that. But we will start off here with just an overview. It says here that they kept the base feeling of playing a side-scrolling animated feature film and added in-depth, fast-paced combat to the mix. And you can kind of see that. You can see what they are going for here with the graphics and the character designs, that they are trying to make it kind of like an animated film, and then you're a character in this animated film going through it. And I think graphically, it looks really cool. I can't wait to see this on like a big 4K screen and just see all the colors pop. So I love what they are deciding to go here with the graphic style and the art style. He says here that the Belfry is the hub where players will meet between missions to check on quests, upgrade weapons at the forge, attempt danger, license trials, and more. So this is going to be a game where you're going to the Belfry and then you are just getting your loadout and your character and getting everything ready to go on your next quest. So there's going to be that central hub, and then from that central hub, you move around, do the different parts of the game. It says the map will evolve through level design, enemy spawns, and seasonal content. So here is the very, very cool thing as to how they developed this game. They say the map is designed to be highly modifiable by the developer so they can quickly seed it with new enemies, bosses, crafting, components, gear, weapons, biomes, gameplay modes, and more. So this is not a game that they are dropping out onto Xbox Game Pass and they are dropping out to PC where that's it. Like, they are going to continuously bring new content on an episodic nature. It's going to be somewhat like seasons where they're going to be bringing new stuff for you to play and try out through the longevity of this game. For however long they develop this game, obviously that will depend on the actual success of it. But this is awesome to see. Very excited to see how they continuously update this, especially with like new biomes and gameplay modes. What are they going to add to improve upon where this game does launch? This is going to be a continuous game with stuff to do for a long time. So it's not just a one and done. It's one that you're going to continuously play because of new content. So that's pretty cool to see. And they say here episodic narrative. So they're going to continue to also build out the story with new episodes. They say players can customize their ace with gear, weapons, umbral spirits, beings, and aspects. And there are 4 weapon classes to choose from, each with different combos, movesets, stats, and abilities. And of course, we know Towerborne is launching later this year. So this is another big release here, day and date on Xbox Game Pass for the Xbox ecosystem. I think Towerborne, out of all the games that come out, is going to be that hidden gem where it may not get the most hype. It may not have the most people talking about it. It may be for a more niche crowd, but we will be talking about Towerborne for years as a hidden gem that a lot of people just didn't play and potentially jump into at a later point. I'm going to be jumping in right away, however, though, because I'm very excited to jump in and play Towerborne. Now, next up, we got an announcement here for a new indie initiative at Xbox called Indie Selects. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love indies, that I think ID at Xbox is a phenomenal program, and I love how they fill out Xbox Game Pass with just some great indie games that a lot of people would have never heard of or never played if it wasn't for the subscription service. I know myself is I've probably played more indies since I've been a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass, which has literally been since they launched Xbox Game Pass, than I did in any previous time of my life. So I think this is really cool because it's going to help discover more indie games that I've probably never heard of or never played. And on top of that, specifically with this Indie Selects program, they aren't choosing games that are within Xbox Game Pass right now, because those are games that are already being promoted through the Xbox Game Pass hub, but they're going to be taking games that are within the Xbox store, which are even harder to find. It probably is far less likely that you will find these games compared to if they are within Xbox. And they're going to have a bunch of different features and playlists throughout the month. And then at the end of the month, they are going to be selecting their 6 favorite games that they've played that they believe people will enjoy as the indie selects. But as an example, they have right now the Xbox store featuring the indie games on the featured playlist. And then there's also going to be a playlist for a weekly theme. So for example, they say if you're looking to play games to play with your cat, games that need a laugh track, or games for evil villains, those they will take a couple of indie games and highlight those. They will also highlight games from around the world or from new creators and voices, which if you're trying to put out an indie game, very hard to break in the scene with the amount of developers out there. Not everybody's going to end up being a Palworld, so highlighting new games that potentially will gain a few fans that would have never heard about this game is definitely a good idea. And then they say the best part of is that at the end of the month, the last week of the month, they will showcase 6 titles that are designated the ID at Xbox Indies Select. So pretty cool. You can go check that out right now. It has launched, and you're going to discover games that maybe you have never thought of playing. Maybe you'll discover a new one that becomes a favorite. I love indie games, so I'm really happy to see Xbox kind of pushing forward that indie initiative on top of what they already do with ID Xbox and what they do with all of the indie games within Xbox Game Pass. All right, let's talk some Call of Duty, and I guess you could say the Xbox roadmap for the next number of years of Call of Duty. We got some information here. This is via Insider Gaming and Tom Henderson, that Sledgehammer Games is actually going back to remote work as they are looking to find a new office. It says Sledgehammer Games will be closing its main office in California to relocate to a smaller office space. And this came during a company-wide town hall meeting last week. Now, on top of learning that information, we also potentially now know what the next upcoming Call of Duty games are in 2024. I mean, we've already heard about Golf War, but then 2025, 2026, and 2027. So it says here, it's a move that comes at an interesting time for Sledgehammer Games, as it was also announced during the town hall that the studio will be the main developer for Activision's 2027 Call of Duty title. So Sledgehammer, their next game is coming out in 2027. Infinity Ward will be heading Call of Duty 2026, which is understood to be known as Modern Warfare Universe. And then Call of Duty 2025 is currently planned to be a semi-futuristic Black Ops 2 sequel under the codenamed Saturn. So we now kind of have a roadmap of how Xbox and Activision are going to be handling these next upcoming Call of Duty. It looks like they are still sticking with that yearly schedule. I mean, that isn't surprising, and this is something that is hard to move away from because of the sheer amount of money that Call of Duty does make. But I'm hoping maybe after the end of 2027, if that's the last game that they currently have planned and are going to currently start within development, maybe they think about going to a new strategy of just releasing the game every 2 or every 3 years and then just continuously updating the current version of Call of Duty. I think it will still do very well. They'll get new people in every time there's new seasonal content or just any new campaign content that they would add to the game, or any new multiplayer maps or multiplayer game modes or any of that stuff that they do add over a period of time. More people will end up picking up and playing the game, and they can make these games last longer than give a much bigger and nicer upgrade when the new version does come out, maybe 2 or 3 years later, rather than have it as a yearly release. And I mean, we'll see if that does happen. I'm kind of skeptical as well, just like I said, because of the sheer amount of money it makes every single year. But this is going forward, what Activision and Xbox are going to be doing with their Call of Duty games. The question here, as we still have so many questions when it comes to Xbox, Activision, Blizzard, because we've heard nothing since the deal closed. Is when are we going to get that first announcement for Game Pass? When are we going to get that first roundtable or just acknowledgement from Xbox in maybe a video form or announcement form, where they're giving us more details as to what we could be expecting with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard? Okay, let's jump over. I mean, we're going to continue to talk about this because it continues to explode, and Xbox is doing very well now because of Palworld. And we got Palworld here hitting over 2 million concurrent gamers. Like I said yesterday, if this game continues to grow at the rate that it's growing, there's a chance that it may overtake PUBG as the new record holder for the most concurrent gamers. We'll see what happens as the week goes on. Going into next week, are the numbers going to continue to climb? Are they going to stagnate, maybe fall a bit? It'll be something very interesting here to track. But Bucky from Palworld and Craftopia, who is the community manager of Pocket Pair, says that 2 million concurrent gamers, saying thank you for all the support and kind words. Palworld is nothing without the players. It's as much your game as ours now. We're working hard to make the game even better. And he was not lying about working to make the game even better, because Palworld has now announced a roadmap for this game, and there's going to be a ton of more content and fun things to do within this world going forward. I'm loving the game, so I'm excited about this. So it says, first of all, early access roadmap. They are going to be addressing critical issues. There's many bugs that need to be fixed. The game is not anywhere near perfect. There are lots of technical issues with this game, but it doesn't really take away from just how much fun and how many things there are to do within the game. They're going to be making improvements to implement these ASAP, key configuration improvements, improvements to base PAL AI and pathing. Now, future updates. This is where things get exciting. This is where things get interesting. They are planning PvP, raid bosses for endgame content, PAL Arena for your PvP for your pals. So like, remember the Pokemon Arena games is going to be, or Pokemon Stadium games is going to be like that. Steam Xbox crossplay, which thank goodness they are putting that in there, because that is something that right now missing. I know the game is in early access, but a lot of people were wondering and asking if there was crossplay between Xbox players, Game Pass players, and Steam players. Various Xbox feature improvements, server transfers and migrations, which is a great thing as well. But that's only currently right now on the Steam. If you can have dedicated servers, you can't have that on Xbox right now. Hopefully they do bring dedicated servers over to Xbox. Improvements to the building system, new islands, pals, bosses, and technology. So we are so early in this game. Like, just like the name says, it's early access, right? And they are going to continue to build up this thing. And I can see this world just getting so massive, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up shattering records here on Steam for concurrent players and sales and things like that. So Palworld continues to do very well, and it is severely helping out Xbox in many ways. I know a lot of people like to troll and joke that, oh, we're looking at these numbers and it's the Steam numbers that are so big, but Xbox is doing phenomenal as well. As we showed yesterday, it is up there in the top games. It is the top game played Game Pass game. And now we have some more information here from Matt Piscatella of Circana, who releases the industry insights and numbers and data on a monthly basis in terms of sales and users interactions and stuff like that, and engagement. It says here, according to Circana's player engagement tracker, on January 22nd, Palworld surpassed Fortnite in the US for Xbox daily active users. On that day alone, Palworld players on Xbox in the US played Palworld for more than 200 minutes on average. Bonkers numbers. So it passed Fortnite, which has continuously been on the top for the people jumping in on a daily basis. And Palworld passed that, and I in 200 minutes on average. That's a lot of time that people are playing within this game, because there is so much to do, so much to discover. And I'm sure Xbox is looking at their numbers and looking at what Palworld has been able to do on the platform, getting into Xbox Game Pass, keeping people's attention to the Xbox ecosystem versus the PlayStation ecosystem. I am sure they are looking to do more here with Pocket Pair. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear more partnerships, or even at some point in the future end up acquiring Pocket Pair. They got Craftopia on Game Pass. They have the biggest game in the world with Palworld. They've worked together more than once, so maybe they are evaluating something more in the future, because Pocket Pair has absolutely helped the Xbox ecosystem. And now let's jump over here. Quickly mention PlayStation, because PlayStation, we know this year from a first-party perspective, from their major first-party studios, we don't really know their roadmap. It seems like they're not releasing anything in 2024, but they are doing remakes and remasters, and it looks like we are getting another one here. This is according to Deal Labs. So again, this isn't confirmed yet, but this is according to Deal Labs, that Until Dawn is getting a new release for PlayStation 5 and PC. The announcement is coming in 15 days, most probably a state of play, which, believe it or not, I would love a new state of play, because we haven't had one in so long, and I just want more info from the first parties. I even want more info on PSVR 2. So I hope they have that in this upcoming state of play. And it looks like they are going to be updating, putting out a remastered or a remake of Until Dawn on the PS5 and PC. All right, to end things off, just a couple of sad things again happening across the industry. Layoffs are continuing to happen. Cuts are continuing to happen. I don't see this slowing down anytime in 2024, but People Can Fly is now reportedly cutting 30 developers and also a further 20 people working on their current project, which is Project Gemini, an unannounced Square Enix game. They have been relocated to other projects at the Polish studio. And the reasoning behind this, from an internal email that was shared with Kotaku, says that the cuts were being made due to budget limitations and the shrinking scope of the project. So you can tell these major companies, Square Enix, they are really fine-tuning what they are going to be working on. They are not trying to waste any money whatsoever. And if they don't believe a game is going to be very successful, you're probably going to see more of this, especially with the rising costs of developing games. And the same thing here is happening with Black Forest Games. This one's less surprising because it's the Embracer Group, but they are behind the TMNT, The Last Ronin, and they have laid off over 50 people, which is 50% of the workforce. To me, this is very concerning. I would be so sad if this game just does not end up coming out because it's being handled by the Embracer Group. I've read the comic. I'm reading through it right now as well, some more. And I mean, I would love to see this game come out. I hope that it isn't garbage, because now you're seeing 50% of the workforce. It may be tough for them to be able to put out something as high quality as they want to, but we will see what happens. I really hope this game does not end up failing because it's being handled here by the Embracer Group. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.